What is the best class in Oblivion Remastered, and what skills should you take? In order to figure that out, let's take a look at what defines each class. First up is the starting stats or attribute points. Honestly, these don't really matter all that much, as all stats in the game can get to level 100 regardless of what class you choose. Then what also defines them is their class abilities or their daily abilities. That is where 3 specific classes rise above the rest. Here are the top 3 best choices for classes in my opinion. First off is the Dark Elf. They're an extremely balanced character overall, probably the most versatile of any class in the game. They can serve as a great warrior class, a battle mage, a stealth character, even a barbarian style build if you choose. They also have a 75% resistance to all fire damage, which is the most common elemental damage in the game. Then down the road you can even max this out to 100%, which will completely negate all fire damage in the game, and unlike physical damage reduction that can't be capped, elemental damage can, meaning every single fire ability, and there's a lot in the game because there's Daedra in the game, and as a huge focus on the game, you will negate literally all of that damage. Then on top of that, with a 100% fire resistance and the walk on water spell, you can even walk over pools of lava without taking any damage, allowing for much quicker shortcuts, traversal, and even combat over lava, giving your enemy a huge disadvantage. Then if you want to become a vampire, this class also helps offset the negative that comes with that, as vampires take 50% more damage from fire, so your built-in resistances help manage that negative property. Now next up is the High Elf. High Elves have plus 100 Magicka, which is a huge bonus. This is extremely useful for pretty much any type of spell build. Whether it's pure spellcasting, a spellblade, anything to do with magic, the High Elf is a great choice. And this becomes even more useful in the endgame with even more powerful spells and just being high above every other class with this huge Magicka bonus. Now there is one downside with the High Elves, as they are vulnerable to fire, shock, and frost, taking 25% more damage from all of them, meaning they are a very high risk, high reward class. They're an extremely powerful class against all non-mage NPCs. Then when you do encounter mage NPCs, you just need to proceed with caution, whether it be absorption spells, defensive properties. You just need to have a bit more care. But when it comes to magic, there is no class that just offers more power than the High Elf. Now lastly, what I would honestly consider the very best class in the entire game are Bretons. They get a plus 50 magic bonus, which is a huge bonus. It's only half of what High Elves get, but they don't suffer the same vulnerabilities that the High Elves have. In fact, it's quite the opposite. They have a built-in 50% magic resistance to all elemental types, which can later be brought up to 100%, meaning that Bretons have the ability in later parts of the game to completely negate any and all damage done from any form of spell, which is incredibly powerful. And if that wasn't enough, their special daily ability Dragon Skin grants a shield for 60 seconds that reduces all physical damage done to you by 50%. So with that being said, even if you are playing a tank and you just want a really good character or a character that can survive even on higher tier difficulties, the Breton is 100% the way to go. Now I will say the Dark Elf is my personal favorite class just due to its versatility, but there's no arguing that the Breton just stands above the rest. Alright, now let's talk birth signs. There are 4 signs in total that I would recommend regardless of what class you choose to pick. The first is Steed, which offers a 20% increase to your movement speed. It's going to help you just traverse the map in general. If you hate going to fast travel to every single location, you can of course rent a horse or borrow a horse or steal a horse. But if you just want to walk around and you just want to be able to explore your dungeons quickly, explore areas quickly, 20% is a huge difference. Now when it actually comes to combat, you can reposition well too. So if you're a mage who wants to keep your distance, if you're an archer or a stealth character who wants to constantly keep the enemies at bay and never get hit, this is also going to be extremely important for just repositioning as well. Now the second sign is the thief sign. Now this one is a little debatable, as all attributes can be leveled up to 100, so technically it's not needed to get these extra bonuses per se, but as I just mentioned, speed is very helpful. Also agility gives you more stamina, which combined with more speed just means you can move around the map more without needing to rest. Then lastly, the big reason I chose this sign is the plus 10 to luck, which is the hardest attribute to level up, since when you level up, luck requires 4 of your level up points compared to 1 being needed for all of your other attributes. Now next up is the mage sign, which is honestly just short and sweet. It grants a plus 50 Magicka bonus for you without any negative drawbacks, unlike the Atronach or the apprentice sign. Now lastly, what I would consider probably the best sign in the game, even with the changes in the remaster, is the Lord sign, which increases your armor rating by plus 15% and your magic resistance by plus 15% as well. This of course can be combined with things like the Breton's built-in magic resistance, meaning it's possible if you pick the Breton to start the game with 65% magic reduction, which is insane. But realistically, it's just a very useful sign to have for any class that you choose to play, because you have a plus 15% damage reduction on anything that's going to be hitting you. Alright, now lastly, let's talk character classes per se and skills. You want to pick a custom class so you can just pick the skills that make the most sense. After selecting a custom class, it will have you pick a specialization, which would be combat, magic, or stealth. This will be entirely based on how you want to play. Whatever you select will grant all skills that fall under the specialization 5 additional levels. Then after that, it'll have you pick your 2 favorite stat points, which which will also receive a +5 bonus. Now this one doesn't matter nearly as much, as after the early game pretty much all your stats can be leveled up to 100 as mentioned previously. I personally would recommend strength if you want the extra carry weight, because I know getting capped on items when you're exploring can be an absolute bummer. Also, if you want more speed, that's a great choice, or you can just pick what best suits your class, like intelligence for a mage class. Now lastly, here is where there is a lot of customization. You'll want to pick 7 major skills across all the 3 different specializations. Whatever you pick will get 20 extra levels to start off with, and they will level up significantly quicker. So you want to pick what's going to give you an edge early on, or what can be tedious to level. So with that being said, here's a few notable mentions. The first is going to be the alchemy skill. That way you can just start crafting more powerful potions early on, which can literally do everything. Potions can restore health, magic, stamina, make you invisible, paralyze targets, and get better merchant prices. There's basically a potion in the game for nearly everything that you do, so getting a head start here is going to be huge. Plus, in the remaster they changed how you level it up, so it's really something you should consider picking as one of your major skills. Now next up is athletics and acrobatics. I mentioned speed earlier, and it's a huge component of your gameplay. The more you run, the more you can level it up, the faster you can go. So starting off with it just being higher means you won't need to explore as much in order to get this bonus, and that's going to level up quicker, meaning you won't need to explore simply just to max it out. And then acrobatics requires you to jump, which as you can imagine is not always needed in Oblivion, so you'll be needing to probably spam the jump button to get any decent progress on it quickly. So getting a head start here and just being able to have it level up faster is going to be a huge help. Now next up is going to be an armor perk designed on which type of armor you plan on using. Now if you're playing a warrior class, it may not be hard to level up, let's say, your heavy armor. Now if you're playing a mage or a stealth character whose literally sole purpose is to avoid trying to get hit, then as you can imagine it's going to take a long time to level this up because you're not going to be taking a lot of damage. So getting a boost here is going to be a huge help, so when you do take damage, it's going to level a whole lot faster. Now next up is going to be the armor skill. While you can have merchants help repair your armor, it's just always going to be better for you to be able to do it on your own in the long run. And you'll quickly realize how fast some of your items can break in the game, so having this on hand and level up fast, especially as you get better equipment, is going to be a huge help. Now after those recommendations, I would honestly just pick what's going to be the best for your playstyle or what you're looking to accomplish in the game. Whether that's a specific magic class like destruction, or a damage class like two-handed weapons, whatever's going to help round out your character is going to be the best pick for the remainder of these skills. Now I want to end off this video by saying this is the best way to set up your character for min-maxing your character or being quote-unquote the most efficient. But in reality, if you've already started, don't feel like you have to start over, because there are ways in the game to level every single skill and every stat to 100 regardless of what your initial setup was. So if you picked a class because it's your favorite, or for lore purposes, or role-playing, or it looked cool, or someone even recommended to you, that is a perfect pick. Don't feel like you have to start over. Let me know down in the comments, what class did you pick if you started already, and if you haven't, what class do you plan on playing?